You want an investment edge, but all you hear is noise, hype, and half-truths. Every signal is solid information, but only if you can see the bigger picture. This is where the Quasar magic happens. Weather, charts, news, all financial signals funneled into a single dashboard. Data alone isn't enough. Quasar Markets turns it into energy, sharp, clear, precise. Optimize with Quasar Markets today. Your edge when investing.
Good morning, Quasar Markets Live. Happy November. It kicks off with futures green and AI still driving the bus. The earnings engine is revving, 80% beats and double-digit growth, and seasonality has our back. BigBeat's here to break it all down. How was the trip? What's going on out in the streets there, BigBeat?
Chicago, I like Chicago. Chicago's changing its tune a little bit. It's growing a little bit. I like that. But they're still stuck in the same situation. They have a K economy as well. The rich are still spending, and the poor are really hurting in Chicago. It's really, I've been talking about it for a while, and what cities are growing and what cities are falling apart. Ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you flat out, there's not a crime wave in Chicago. That is absolute nuttiness. Look, every city has their problems, but there's no crime wave in Chicago. In fact, people were, out in the streets again. It was my wife's and obviously, and going to see the game. I mean, it was people were having a good time. Life was good. Halloween was going on, which is a good time in Chicago. So that was good. And I'll tell you, we'll talk about it later in the show, but we did not see any of the airport shutdowns or delays in my position, but there were delays.
There's been a lot. So we're going to go opposite for the start off with here, because I will say the negatives. Chicago River North has had some issues, Steve. The area there has had some crime issues, and I know some folks that work for
If you go to River North, that's on you.
No, River North, where all the nice restaurants are. Some of the nicest restaurants in the city.
Yeah,
I mean, that's, by DePaul, that's where I went to school. I mean, that was an area that they redeveloped, and it's just not working out that great there. But what we are seeing is people have come back to the loop, and that's great because they were gone. And you're seeing businesses reopen there and things like that.
And I was in the loop all weekend, and I can tell you that is super nice. So
definitely the bean, everything over there. We're going to be going in a couple of weeks with the little one taking her ice skating over there, so it should be great. November is still we still kick off earnings here, Steve. Your boy Warren Buffett had his song over the weekend, I guess you could say, right? There, and getting right into the pre-market movers. How about Kenvue, KVUE, and Kimberly Clark?
I've been talking about Kenvue for a while. There's no Tylenol issue leaked to whatever thing it is. Kimberly Clark, smart move here. We talked about this M&A. Whenever stocks fall for no other reason because of nonsense, then you're going to find companies like Kimberly Clark. And I like Kimberly Clark. They're a very huge company. And we talk about Kenvue, right? We talk about Tylenol, all the things that Kenvue does, diapers. We had a half hour about Kenvue. And if you didn't buy Kenvue, that's on you, on people out there. Because I've been talking about it. That was an easy one for me. I wish it was no longer my long-term now, but for obvious reasons because of today. But a big win here today. But I'll also say that Kimberly Clark is probably going to go into buying spree as things happening. So, when you look at what they have, the paper products, obviously, this fits for them and perfectly. And they're not overpaying for Kenvue. Kenvue is probably worth $40 a share, $50 a share. If you look at their real numbers.
That was the thing is, right, exactly. Timing is everything, as we talk about in the timing here, is that since, they're down 50% since the, announcement the government was sort of going after them. So they actually get it at a pretty good rate there. So it looks like a good buy. Yeah, I think all around it's a good buy. Yep. AI deal still in there, Steve. IREN, IREN, up 22% after a 9.7 billion AI.
And you've been talking about IREN every single morning. So, I mean, you've killed IREN. You've known that coming up. We followed that, and absolutely, I agree with IREN. So, again, here you go. These, and we said this last year. I said, look, these major companies that are trying to build AI is stupid. buy the companies or make partnerships with OpenAI and those companies, and you'll do very well. Let OpenAI be part of the game. Let them be the new company that plays with the Mag 7, Mag 8 now, if you want it, because quite frankly, they did a much better job building the stuff, right? They're more competitive than a Microsoft or an Amazon in the AI, and I'm looking forward to that, right? So they did the right move, and of course now everybody's winning, and that's what I like that.
Yeah, it's a $9.7 billion deal with the data center operator that includes access to NVIDIA's advanced chips, aiming to ease the computing crunch that has kept the tech giant from fully cashing in on its AI boom, sent the shares up more than 20%. Dell also up about 5%, as they said they would be the one providing the NVIDIA GB300 chips and other equipment Microsoft will use for about $5.8 billion. So good to see both of those moving up on that news. We also see Micron up nicely today here so far, up about 3% this morning on chip sector strength in general. So, Steve, it still seems to be, AI versus the world.
Yeah, and the NVIDIA's GB300, that is the, you can pull it up if you have it on your site, or you want to pull it up what it looks like. But what I like about it is the I have it here. I think I'll show my screen.
I just have my charts up.
You're all right. I'll show it. The GB300 is what we call AI reasoning. Hopefully you can see that. And
there you go.
All right, good. And you can see from my screen, hopefully you guys can see that. Can you see that?
My screen here.
Oh, okay, the GB300. If you scroll down a little bit there, Howard, you'll see the chart, the top mid part, I guess. One more up. I'm sorry, one more up. It's in the black. There you go. This is the AI factory output performance. The GB300 is the one that does AI reasoning, and that's what we really wanted to see. The Hopper that they had in the past is starting to slow down because they don't need them as much, because they know now that reasoning is now happening by single users, meaning that people are trying to make their own decisions. They're not going to major companies and going, tell me what I want to know. They're asking the question. Think of it like back in the day when we went to Google and asked Google everything personally, right? And then they built a server. That the GB300 is the AI reasoning for the bigger one. And if you look to the top of the screen, you'll see what that looks like. That's the GB300. It's the new one, the new version. That this thing is unbelievable. It has 36 ARM-based Grace Chipwell sets. And we talked about the Grace Chipwell. It's putting 36 of them in there. This is not a $1,000 machine. This is an $80,000 machine, right? And what it does is you put this into an office, and it replaces 8 computers, right? It replaces everybody doing one-on-one chat GPT. They can hit this server up. They just take the $80,000 server, replace, put it in their Blade servers, and be done with it. That is huge. That changes the philosophy of that company inside of it, of having to go out and paying for 50 different chat GPTs and everybody having access. This machine does it all for them and keeps it all in-house. So that's what a lot of people are doing. And this thing here is it's a big scaler. They can, and if it gets bigger and bigger, they just buy another one, and they buy another one, and they buy another one. That's where the scaling happens here. And that changes a lot. And the performance of this machine is off the charts. So this thing actually does render so much. Oh yeah, you'll see here, that's good. The rendering of real-time video generation, where you'd go to like a YouTube, or you want to build rip down one of our videos and build an AI out of it. It normally would take like 10 minutes. This one happens in seconds now. So expect this machine here to be a big winner for NVIDIA.
Yep, and the 5-year deal shows AI industry's growing hunger for computing power to run applications such as ChatGPT. It follows earnings from major tech companies last week that underscored capacity shortages were limiting their ability to fully benefit from the boon. Partnering with Iron will allow Microsoft to expand computing capacity without building new data centers or securing additional power. We've talked about that It has been the way a lot of the crypto, especially the Bitcoin mining companies, are securing their future by partnering and providing both. If you already have the energy in the space, adding one more, warehouse, so to speak, or data center to the back is not that big of a deal. So nice move there. Iron, like we said, is up 22% on it. Dell up about 4% so far. Palantir's earnings tonight, Steve. What do you think there? The street's eyeing AIP growth. It's going to be an interesting one. Palantir right now trading. I had it up earlier.
All right, so those of you out there know what I think about Palantir. At $35, nobody really understood Palantir. I think I talked about this last year. I had a big dinner, and everybody asked me what the big stock to buy. And I said Palantir, and everybody at the table laughed at me. The dinner happened again, and nobody laughed, right? They're like, wow, how did you know? Well, they had all the contracts. Over the weekend, I read a huge article in the Wall Street Journal. I think everybody should read this article, where Palantir no longer is hiring college students at all. They're going straight to the high schools and hiring them and training them because they know what's happening, that the college students all went to school and they all went and got a formal training, but not formal training in what's really going on. The AI is moving so fast. So Palantir made it very clear, the CEO was talking about it, and he said, look, I'm going to hire them straight out of high school, and I want to train them myself. And you heard that from Steve Flanagan talking about that. What about junior colleges training them and having corporate sponsorships? I agree with that, right? Companies know what they need to be trained on. Schools don't know as well. That I agree on. This is not the old days where you have a formal education in basket weaving, right? Underwater basket weaving, I always say. Now you got to understand AI. And our college professors that are 80 years old understanding AI like we do? The answer is no, right? They don't. So the companies, Palantir, Microsoft, OpenAI, Amazon, they're better equipped to train them, right? So I understand what Palantir is doing, and they're no longer in that fight. It's lowering their costs for labor. They don't have to go out and try to hire the billion-dollar employee anymore. They're now doing it. Thank you. Appreciate that. That's what they're doing. So that I agree with, right? And so I saw that. I thought, you know what? They're absolutely right. Read the article. If you don't have a chance to, if you don't have a Wall Street Journal account, or try to, find it somewhere. But this article changes the philosophy of corporations and expect other corporations to do the same thing. Which brings me to the next point of, if this is the case, then you have a lost generation. You have college students coming out right now that won't be able to find a job, that have just spent $100,000 getting an education, that are going to be lost. They're going to find a job, but not like they're going to be lowering their entry to get into a company. They're not going to ask for the $500,000 a year and all the other things they need to get in, and they're going to lower that. So I think you're going to see a little bit of a bump in margins on companies, because they're lowering their if you don't know, in a company, the most expensive thing in any company, one thing, is labor costs. Labor costs are usually high. That's why Amazon, Microsoft, they're all laying people off for AI, right? So that's why I'm saying that this could be the game changer that really changes things, not just adding AI and AI servers. So yeah.
Okay. My takeaway, while that is all good and great, they are hiring about 500 graduates. These are kids that have full scholarship rides to Brown, Harvard,
Correct.
Columbia, Penn. This isn't your average student that's taking these jobs or being, Palantir's going after. They're going after child geniuses.
That's right.
They're trying to just get them before they get in and get bad ideas. Yeah. And we'd also have to point out, right, Palantir's leaders are rather libertarian, rather non-traditional folks that run that company. That's why they've done so well. But that is very much the case. They are very, very different folks over there. So we are about 10 minutes from the open here this morning. Let's get you caught up on what is going on. We are seeing the tick is slightly down. Qs, though, NASDAQ slated to open up almost a full percentage point now, back up around 634.75. We see the S&P up about a half a percentage point, getting ready to open at 685.40. We'll have Mr. Flanagan in soon. DXY threatening to break through that 100 mark here. So folks are loading back into the dollar as he talked about. So we'll get all of his thoughts there. Gold, it does look like 4,000 is the new floor. Does seem to find support there every time. Silver sitting up again, still 48.85, and holding up pretty well. Steve mentioned crypto, not so much. Bitcoin back toward the lows that it's seen in this year at 106 and change earlier, back up to 107,778. Oil is up slightly. We've regained the WTI, regained the 60 handle, trading at $60.80. Brent at 64,705. And we do see the 10-year back at 4.11. So, Steve, we really haven't had you in since the Fed's decision and Powell's statement basically that, don't think December is set in stone. What do you think now about that?
That was a thumb. There was a thumb in the nose to the president. He knew what he was saying when he said it. But to me, I don't think it matters too much. The president's already picked the next person. We know that. We don't know who he is yet. But most of us kind of know. Those of us that are the DC folks, we know who it is. I'm not gonna mention the name here on the show for obvious reasons. But let's just say that person will be very influential in pushing the rates down. Well, I do want to mention one thing that I did buy on Friday, and I think I mentioned in my own stuff, but I bought Meta, Facebook, on that drop on Friday, and kept it over the weekend, which I think we're going to go higher, and if we go much higher here, will be good. And I think if the president if we don't get another lower rate, then it's okay. And I like the Meta drop, so I'm having to buy it based on that big thing. So no, I think there's another rate cut coming in December. I don't think they're going to stop that. But to say, well, it's data dependent, there's no data to be dependent on, right? So I don't know what the hell he's talking about, right? He seemed very lost in that meeting. Good morning, Kim. I couldn't understand what he was talking about half the time. A very smart man. Powell is a very, very smart man, and he was lost, and he has lost the narrative at the Fed. Where you have dissent and you've got all kinds of things going on. Unfortunately, it is time for him to step down, I think, and he doesn't have a choice coming up. So expect the rates to continue to decline. Even past Powell. So I do expect that. The one thing we didn't talk about, and I'll talk about it real quickly, and it's happening now, is the repo numbers. Delinquency rates in automobiles are at the highest level in history. And I talked about that last week. The repo man is so busy right now. I think he is the K economy. He's become the rich guy now. And so because of that, be careful. The last time we had that was COVID. Right. And that we know what happened there. And the time before that, we had a massive recession. So, and I would almost beg to differ. We had a depression, but okay. 22 states are right now in a recession. I think you mentioned to me this morning, not be so negative on the economy, but there are 4 more states coming up that are so super close to recession. That's Louisiana, New Mexico, Kansas, and Rhode Island. All 4 of them are different states with different things going on. But one of the things that all of them have in combination, do we know what it is? And they all have agriculture in general, right? Each one of them are different. And Louisiana obviously having oil addition, and Rhode Island having a little bit more of a high cost economy there. So the K economy is starting to pick up a bit. So okay, I'll tone it down, Howard, for everybody. But the truth of the matter is, I'm right, and I've been right about this K economy. And now we're hearing in the Wall Street Journal, Bloomberg mentioned it over the weekend, that it's getting worse and worse. And the people that own stock are now starting to slow down. Do you know that this is the first time that I know, and I'm wishing him very well. I met Warren a couple times. Warren Buffett did not buy Warren Buffett stock, Berkshire Hathaway, back. He did not buy his own stock back, and that's what he said. I'll buy it back when it's worth it, right? When it's undervalued. He does not even think Berkshire Hathaway is undervalued. Okay, he has the highest cash flow, cash pile, cash in history again. All right. So he does not even think anything out there is worth buying. Right. Okay. You can say, okay, well, he's giving it over to Abel and team over there to Greg. I don't think that's the case. Yeah. Okay. Good. Thanks. Oh, look at that. I didn't even know it's coming up. It is. It's a valuation warning, folks. It really is. And I keep hearing, well, if earnings keep up, then numbers are fine. Okay. The Wall Street Journal put it in again. I thought the Wall Street Journal did a great job over the last few days of really putting out some good articles. And I'll tell you, we have 4 minutes now to the open. I'll tell you right now, they're saying the same thing. You're going to have to quadruple, not triple, not double, not single, quadruple earnings to keep up with this stock market. Quadruple. All right. And those numbers are not. That's it. We just don't see it. And I don't see it either. If the only companies that are holding the markets up is AI companies, and we know that.
Well, Russell 3000 is up. That's what surprised me, Steve. I was with you. I really thought that was the case. The median Russell 3000 EPS growth is 11%, highest it's ever been. That's year-over-year revenue growth. So yeah, no, it isn't. I'm with you. I really thought that was going to be the case. And as you said, Wall Street Journal, where I got
the last 9 companies who joined the Russell 3000 were all in AI. Right? I mean, that's my point. It's Paladin, it's Resolve, it's Arrive. These are AI companies. So if you're not an AI, if you're not learning AI as a person, you're not in it, your company's not in it, whatever, you are done. Not oh well, you'll pull back or whatever. We're talking about major, massive companies that have nothing to do with AI are all in AI. That's what's saving. And Heliogen is an AI. I mean, these companies are all joining the Russell. They're all AI. It's AI, and I hate to keep saying AI, but it's what's happening. And so I'm looking at it from a different perspective, where I say, okay, if your company is not implementing AI at all in anything, that's your choice, but don't expect to be part of the new generation, right? Palantir told you that. Amazon's telling you that. Microsoft's telling you that. Meta,
everybody, it's going to change, right? Absolutely. The connection between Amazon and AI, OpenAI, to be able to use your chat GPT and it orders your stuff is amazing. Steve, before we get into the opening, we do have to say government shutdown day 34. The good news is judges have ordered emergency SNAP benefits to be paid out. Treasury eyes Wednesday as a restart. So that could be good. Shutdown delays the jobs report and key data again. Yep. Any comments there on what's going on?
I don't want to get too political, but I'll tell you this much. Looking at the inside numbers, people are blaming the Republicans now for the shutdown. I said it that this will be the longest shutdown in history. I don't think people believed that at the beginning. Today, if it goes this week, then it is the longest in history. And we have a president who doesn't care. We have a government that doesn't care.
I see them blaming both sides. In other words,
I'm saying we have a government that doesn't care about it.
Because the Democrats' ratings have gone down too. They're both
100%. But I will say this much: Mamdani will be the next mayor of New York City, and that to me is atrocious. But it is what it is. We have to live with it, and it's what's going to happen, right? And you're going to see that. You're seeing in Virginia, the governor of Virginia will definitely be a Democrat. She will win. It's just not. I think they're probably even almost quit at this point. This is becoming a problem, right? And when governments are moving this fast back and forth, then we can't, as traders, understand the economy. So we need to make sure we're ahead of it right now. I'll tell you, I need to let me see tomorrow night, and on Wednesday, I'll tell you what's really going to happen. Right now, I don't know the answer to it yet, but it looks like that it's going to be a massive sweep for Democrat Party come November or tomorrow. So let's see how that plays out first. Politically, I don't really care either way, to be honest with you. But right now, I want to see a balance in the force, but it looks like the shutdown will continue, I think, probably all the way to Thanksgiving at this point, especially now that we're seeing judges stepping in and saying, okay, well, we'll protect SNAP, we'll protect this. Then what do the Dems have in common? What do the Republicans have in common to get this done? It's healthcare. So will healthcare get fixed? And the answer is no. Right. You saw CBS had an sit-down interview with the president, and he said, you've had 10 years to fix it, and you haven't done it. Republicans have had that long. Democrats have had that long, and healthcare is still not fixed. So you're expecting. All right, we're open.
We are open here. So let's get going. We
I
do
will
see
probably buy
first.
some more Meta here. Actually, I think it's
Okay, tick is slightly down to start off with. Dow Jones opens up slightly up for the day, 47,596. S&P opens up about a half a point and is moving slightly to the upside. Q's just broke above 1% to the upside here. So first move there across all of those are to the upside. As we say that, though, VIX, while it's coming down here this morning, back up at 1734. So volatility index is rising as prices do. That definitely should tell you everything, as Steve's mentioned. And we see Bitcoin 107,600. First move to the downside there. Oil first move to the downside. Looking at the Mag 7. NVIDIA, man, 209.03. Nice move to the upside here, up 3.24%. Amazon on their connection to OpenAI up 5.61% here. Steve, the other one I thought that was interesting is I was listening to him talk about Google, YouTube, and their fight with Disney. And very interesting in that they mentioned that because of how big Google is, them losing a little bit of revenue due to YouTube is not a big deal, that they might actually have the wherewithal to, sort of put Disney back in the closet. So it should be interesting to watch there.
I don't think either side really cares, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think they both just want to do their own thing.
Yeah, I mean, Disney owns ABC, they own ESPN. YouTube's trying.
That's who YouTube's fighting. YouTube's the third largest cable provider. I didn't know that either.
Yeah, they're getting. Yep, they are. But I don't use YouTube to get my TV, so.
I actually do now for my NFL.
Oh, okay.
That's where I get my Sunday package. And it works great.
Next year you won't have to worry about the Sunday package, right? It's automatic, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm very impressed in it.
All right, so I bought more Meta here at 654.48. That's where I'm at, but I bought on Friday as well, so somewhere around.
Yeah, we did on the show. I'm long Meta from that drop also, so I got into it on Friday here on the show.
And I think once Meta breaks that bar for where the gap is, so they'll fill that gap, baby, and then off the race it'll go. So Q's still pushing here a little bit.
Yep, we're still moving to the upside. Our tick is gone negative, but Q's back above 1% to the upside. Dow Jones is now only even on the day. If we look at the different sectors, although a little early to do that, I usually like to wait the first 10 minutes. Majority of them are in the red, except for technology and consumer discretionary, both up here today.
Amazon out another 5% today.
Yeah, Amazon taking off here today. Microsoft now up 1%, moving back to the upside after their weaker earnings. Although weren't really weak earnings.
Yeah, Meta's still pushing here.
Microsoft pulling back down to the downside here. Tick is down about 600, so we are seeing a little bit of selling, but I will say that first 20 minutes selling usually leads to an up day as the algos push it down.
I just sold all of my Meta there. Took another $2 out of it, plus the money that I made from Thursday and Friday. So I've taken all that money off now the table, and so yeah.
Nice move there, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Another good day.
Chips all to the upside so far this morning. NVIDIA leading the way up 3.08%. But we also see Micron up 4.6%. I did mention we have AMD hitting earnings tomorrow, up about 70 basis points moving into those earnings.
Oh, wow. Nice move for me to do this morning. Yeah. Oof. Oh, look at that. And the drop there. Yeah. Had a feeling that was kind of where it's coming. Palantir up 2% here. I mean, 204 there. Look,
The
I
crypto
think
mining stocks SIFR and IREN, Cipher and Iron both up here, 19 and 17% going in. KView, which is KenView, up 14.62 on its announcement. So big gainers there. In the sympathy of that move on the Bitcoin mining companies, we also see Bitfarms, Cores, all moving up. Steve, one of the ones we like a lot here on the show, Mondo DB, had some pretty big news this morning. They are replacing their CEO, right? Have the notes here. Yeah. CJ Desai will now become the CEO November 10th. Current CEO is staying on the board. They did say their quarter 3 results set to top high-end guidance. And, you know, the new gentleman's coming from ServiceNow. So big move over there for MongoDB, huh?
I mean, I'm a fan of MongoDB. I think they are the key to AI. Well, I won't explain to you deep down why that's the case, but I will tell you that MongoDB is the key to AI and how that we handle databases in the future. So MongoDB to me is the big winner here. Yeah, I like MongoDB.
Nice. Gold 40.11 here. Dow Jones is down about 7 basis points, moving to the lows of the day. SPY's still down, up, but down to its lows of the cash open. Same on the Q. So that first move to the upside being sold off here so far. The RUT is down about 64 basis points, and we now see a little bit of a jump up by the VIX, 1760. Like I said, it was rising up with the prices. If I look at a lot of the ones we keep an eye on, as Steve mentioned, Amazon up 5%. Guess we're not going to space today. ASTS down about 3.86% here this morning. I was looking, Berkshire's down about 34 basis points. It had been up in the pre-market a little bit here. Coinbase down about 2.79 after their strong earnings report, had them up nicely on Friday. A little bit of a pullback here. Steve, talk about prediction markets and manipulation and the craziness there. I don't know if you saw Brian Armstrong at the very end of their earnings report just uttered like 12 different words: Ethereum, yield staking, like all these things that had been bet on Polymarket, and made a joke about it. I think he was trying to point the problems out with these prediction markets, but he made 8 or 9 different words that just were random words, and it was because they had been very much talked about on or bet on the prediction markets. So craziness.
I mean,
I saw CNBC covered it.
All that. Yeah, you know my thoughts on that. So.
Yeah, Joe Kernan said he wants to corner the market on 1929, which you haven't mentioned yet today. So you would have cost the bet. But Joe Kernan wanted to bet how many times you would bring up the book 1929. Now they said how many times they would mention it on CNBC. So they want to get involved in that game.
I read it over the, still, it's a great book. I think you should read it.
It is. I love it.
You'll understand how it happened. It didn't just happen overnight. Yes, I understand that 1929 didn't have the technology we have today. I get all that. But philosophy and people and greed are all the same. Nothing's changed. People still feel the same way. And they had back then a K economy as well. The rich were getting rich, the poor were getting poor. When the barbershop and the taxi driver were all talking about stocks, they should have dumped then, right? And that's what was happening. But when you lived in Illinois, you lived in California, and the stock market was in New York, you would make phone calls and you would have to wire your information. Not only did you have to pay like big bucks to be able to buy stock, but you also had to pay for the wire to tell the broker, till the broker had to wire to the next wire. It was a massive thing. And while that was all going on, the bank presidents, the new Federal Reserve in New York, they were all partying. They were all having a good time, right? Guess what's happening now? So that's what I mean when I'm saying the K economy is happening right now. There are a lot of parallels. One thing that I want to point out here is one stock I've been talking about for a while is Eli Lilly. Eli Lilly up 2.3% right now, still pushing up. We are now seeing, for the first time in history, I read that article over the weekend, that Ozempic, Wegovy, which is Eli Lilly's, and Novo Nordisk, for the first time, obesity, the biggest problem in the United States, obesity, is actually on the swing now for the first time. So that in and of itself is a big deal. Why? Because the healthcare costs will go down, cardiovascular issues, all those things that we think of surrounding obesity is actually a good thing. And so you're starting to see that now in those stock prices. All right. A little bit of a pullback there. Starting to see a little bit. VXX down about 0.68%. NVIDIA only about 3% right now. Meta at 655. As you know, I dumped that at 658. So might look at it again, but I'll give a little bit of a break there as we're going through it. WTI now $60.63. We know that and look, I talked about it here on the show several times. The big number is nat gas. We know that the weather is literally getting colder and colder. I mentioned that the price of nat gas will go up. But the big thing about nat gas to me is the export of natural gas, LNG, Cheniere. So for me, I think all of those things are changing the philosophy of the weather this coming up winters. I actually went to go look at a bigger coat for being in New York. I've got the winter stuff, but I want a new one. So I would say I went to go look at new coats because it's going to be a very, 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 very cold winter this winter. So, yeah. All right. Let's get to it. KenView up 15.5%. We know why there. Look at this AppView. App 11 APP up 1.5%. Continue to push a little bit here. I have been talking about John Deere and Caterpillar, both down about 1%. They've had some nice runs here, so I do like that. Hey, I love these numbers coming in. I just looked up there. Hey, if you like what we're doing, hit that like button, subscribe. I appreciate it. Numbers are getting really big. Loving it. Love it. All right. It's all right. Let's get to it. Qualcomm flat on the day here. Amazon still up 5%. And yeah.
Tick still down about 357. Advanced decline down 23.25 here. Lows of the day. So we are losing steam, or the algos are losing steam. I don't really count the real market till we get closer to 10.
Tell you what I am looking at, Howard, is Solana.
Oh, yeah. Look at you. It was down around 75, still around 75. Yeah. This is where it's gotten support back since the drop twice. I can't argue with that. You need to see spot volume come in. I will warn you that it's about a 3.5, almost 4-to-1 long shorts on the perps there on that. So
actually, even better. It's even better. Then I will.
Longs are long. Core is now up 6.27. Iron up 17 just down below 17 now percent up on that deal with Microsoft. Looking at the Mag 7, NVIDIA down from the highs of the day, but still up 2.86%. Steve, Apple down 1.09% here. You start thinking maybe it's a buy the dip opportunity here on Apple?
I think it's more of a longer term play, and of course it's Apple crushed it over the last month. I said Apple would be the play, and I said on Schwab 3 weeks ago that look, if you wanted to a boring stock but a one that's going to pay off, it did happen. And so look, if you're in it to win it, then okay. They're gonna have an amazing winter holiday season. So we all know that. So for that, I totally get it. Oops. Damn it.
We do see the markets are still losing a little bit of steam here, tick down about 348. So since the cash open, we have seen ticks been pretty steady to the downside. Dow Jones now down 16 basis points here, back below 47,500. We see SPY down at lows of the cash market open, only up 17 basis points. And the same thing with the Qs, up 70 basis points, but still downside of the day. The rut at the lows down 80 basis points here. Gold holding up pretty well at 40.12. Let's take a look at the different sectors of the S&P. Still the same deal, while not up as much as it was earlier. XLK up about a half a percentage point, still was as high as 304.21, now down at 302 or so. We do see XLY, which is consumer discretionary, up at highs of the day. So that's where the money is moving into or rotating into today. They're up about 1.14%.
And I did that, Howard. I bought Solana here. So
nice. XLU utilities down about 1%. And so is real estate down a little over 1% here this morning.
Oh, look at Meta, 652 after that high that I sold out there. Crushed that.
Definitely dropping down. Everything's sort of moving back down to the downside here.
And I think a lot of it has to do with the dollar too, pushing higher like it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah. S&P manufacturing number, PMI number is coming out at 52.5. Their forecast there was 52.2. So S&P just up just a wee bit there on the manufacturing. I'll put those numbers out there for everybody.
IREN continuing to move back to the upside, up 18.42. Cypher now up 25.15. That's definitely moving to the upside still here. Amazon up 5%. Astera Labs up about 4.35% here this morning.
Boeing up another 1%, back over the 200 handle, 203 now.
Ford's back below 13 here on this drop today. To me, it looks like it wants to fill that gap back down to 1253 or so.
I am keeping a tight eye on RCL, Royal Caribbean. For those of you who know, we're still slipping on Royal Caribbean, and I for me, I'm looking for that buying opportunity. If it gets back down to 270-ish, 274.5, where that low was, I want to see it break below that. Somewhere around 260 would make me happy. That's probably where I would probably be looking. Hearing reports that Siri might be using Anthropic, which is Amazon. Yeah.
IBM up about a point here this morning, back up towards its highs of the day at 310.46. Intel up about 40 basis points also here today. So nice little moves to the upside by those. MU Micron, like we talked about, up about 4.2 here. A little bit of a pullback on Nike here, Steve, continuing to pull to the downside, now down 1.46%. Nike really getting in here.
I loved it, but Nike just can't seem to keep up, right?
I was down 15% over the last month here, Steve. You start to buy the dip at some point here in Nike?
No, I don't think Nike's shoes they're not doing it again for some reason. I don't really get it. I was at the flagship store in Chicago, and I walked by, I didn't even look, which is unusual for me. So, yeah.
Palantir 205 here, moving to the upside, headed into earnings tonight. Steve, which are you playing Palantir into earnings, or you have any call there?
No, not at all. I think Palantir is overvalued right now.
9% volatility was the early IV. I haven't looked since then, but we'll see what we get there. And as we talked about earlier, numbers coming out, it looks like a $38 billion deal for Amazon Web Service on their multi-year strategic partnership with OpenAI. Again, Amazon and OpenAI.
No, I like my moves this morning. Selling that Meta when I high there. And I like my move here in Solana. And now the Bitcoin's pushing up almost back to 108 here. I think it'll be back to 111. I think we're gonna make all-time highs before the end of the year. I really do. I think that Bitcoin will probably go back to 126, 130. I think we're gonna go back, if not higher. There's a massive short squeeze ready to be. And look, there's some major companies on the sidelines looking to buy with a lot of cash. So I would not be short anything in crypto right now.
I'm not there with you yet. We need,
Okay.
there's no spot volume. We just need, you'll know, because the spot volume will come back. Again, we're seeing
Change
100 billion in perps and futures volume to 5 billion in spot volume. That's just not going to get you a healthy return.
What's going to happen when we have war with Venezuela? When we have, which we know that there are more, the base in Puerto Rico is being pushed up. What's going to happen to all of this? And I think that's the key, right? I think that the key here is that you got to be careful. I think that's going to blow a lot of the thought process behind crypto and stocks as well. There's going to be a tipping point. I don't know what that tipping point is, but I don't want to be on the wrong side of this when it happens. So, you know, and this, you saw what happened with some of these stocks when they didn't hit their earnings, like Meta, kaboom. I mean, they you know, but it was a nice pickup point. But right now, this market is overvalued, and I don't like it. And I mean, I'm going to make money off of it. So be prepared out there. So that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, have money on the sidelines. We're all saying. So I mean, everybody's on the on the same point there. And nothing. Yeah, I mean, the market and the economy are two different things, unfortunately.
They try to tie it together, but it's not the same. That's
it really
right.
Doesn't. And that 10% can hold it up. And if they buy and if that money moves, that's part of the disconnect. And that's part of the K getting further widening. You know, I would say that breadth is going to continue to get bigger. Yeah. I'm not happy with that. I just, you know, my difference from you on views is that this market can hold up because that 10% likes what they're seeing from earnings reports. And if they continue to buy, you know, the Paul V's in the world that we live in and those other folks are buying, they're going to keep it going, you know, yep. And institutions are buying and hedge funds are buying. Because a hedge fund can't be out. You know, that's what I'd have to ask Steve Flanagan when he comes on today, right? Is that hedge fund mentality, you know, it's hard to be the only beer in the room as a hedge fund guy. You know, does that change the views also going into the end of the year? If you've been on the other side, are you now chasing? What do they do? What is that mentality of the institutions? That's what I don't have, you know, not being from that side that I love to get from Mr. Flanagan when he comes in. He should be here soon, hopefully.
Let's go Solana. Hey.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm liking Solana right now quite a bit here.
It should make a move, at least a VWAP back up to 178.08 on a short-term move. Worry with Solana that you have is with so many longs right now and the way that the perps are, if they can get it below 172, we haven't seen levels below that since August. And that means there's a ton of liquidation threat to the downside on that. So just the things that I'm waiting for it to clear out before I really start. Although, as I said, for Bitcoin, I told my folks that we're putting wish list orders back in at 106. At 106 is a buyable for you.
Well, we're about to 108 right now. So
yeah. It will bounce. It's not done. Again, the perps are driving. It's not spot volume, unfortunately. So we're at the whims of the futures market, unfortunately. And it moves us up and down, but keeps us locked in the same thing. We've made 3 runs up to 116, right? We can't get through it. We've made 3 runs down to 106. Luckily, support is held at those levels. There's your trading range. Pretty, like you say, pretty basic to see. I do see Mr. Flanagan in. Let's hope that this goes well, guys. Let's play nice here today, everybody. You know, about 100 years of friendship in this room. So everybody, Mr. Flanagan, how are you doing? I saw your note there. I didn't point to it, but you said get ready for the rally here. Really?
Rally hats on. You know, good morning, guys.
Good morning, Steve.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday to you, sir.
I couple of things. Steve, there were 16 reported shootings with 22 victims in Chicago on Friday.
Oh God! Listen, and you heard my response there because I know people that have left to move. You know, good friends that have left that north side of Chicago, which was a nice section towards DePaul, towards Cubby Stadium there. So I'm with you.
Did we just lose Howard?
Sorry about that. Somehow I dropped off there. There I am.
I think the north side of Chicago just cut you off.
Now we just lost Steve. Uh-oh, having some internets. See, they want us. They don't want
anybody talking about
it. They want to quiet the bulls.
Look, every city's going to have issues. Every city has crime.
All right. We don't need that. I'm with you about the National Guard doesn't need to go everywhere.
Right. So,
but there's also been, I mean, Memphis, they're very happy it's there. You know, there are cities that are happy. And in general, DC is pretty happy about it. So
it's getting back in here. Steve, don't have a heart attack on me. We were just saying that, you know, every city has its problems, but it's, you know, it's not National Guard time, right? It's not where this is not Kent State, right? This is not where there's issues going on. All right.
Agree.
So, you know, when I look at the economy, okay, let's get to it.
Let's look at the economy and let's look at dissecting the Fed from last week. Everybody says it was a hawkish cut. That's baloney. I could have used another word, but I'm going to use that one. If you dissect what this guy Powell said, yeah, Steve, you were right. That was a shot right across the bow of the administration. But you talk about what he said. He talked about tariffs being 0.5, 0.6 of the inflation number. That puts us right in the Fed's ballpark of 2%.
But Steve, what did he actually say?
That's what he said, Steve.
No. I mean, like, we understand the words, but what does he actually say? Is this his swan song to go out? I mean, because if I put it all together, and for those of you out there that don't know, that both Steve and I are trained financially, education-wise. We both have institutional knowledge. We both have a retail side. We have been doing this for 35. Steve, I think it's for you 43 years. I don't know what the hell Powell is up to. I'm not the guy that likes to just crap on the Fed, because I'm the opposite. I think the Fed's a great thing. Fed does good things, they do bad things. I don't know what the hell he was talking about. I watched it twice. I was on a plane going, all right, and the lady next to me sitting in the plane was like, what are you watching? I was like, I'm not sure. I think it's a comedy series. Like, I didn't understand what the hell he was talking about. Right? I wanted to understand what he's saying for the future. And he was saying, well, it's not, you know, it may not be in the cards for another future cut. All right. It's not. We understand that it's data dependent. There's no data, and where every meeting could be, could not be, whatever. Yet you had one dissent saying, well, 50 basis points, one saying no cut, and everybody else saying cut by quarter point. So it's pretty much on target of what they were saying. Yet he's saying it's data dependent. Yet he's saying that we're not sure about the next one. Give me a break. Just be honest with the American people.
This was a classic Fed speak. That's what we call it.
Classic Fed speak. I agree.
They yap away. Their lips are moving, but they're not saying a damn thing. But what he did escape, he basically threw the ghost of inflation out the door when he talked about tariffs being 0.5, 0.6, and we're now right. And he said it. We're right on the doorstep of the Fed's goal.
Yeah.
Then take the APEC meeting over the weekend, and with China and the U.S., inflation ghost is gone. That's behind us. And that is a huge positive to risk markets. But the bigger point, which we highlighted prior to the Fed meeting, was QT is over. What does that mean? First of all, quantitative easing, quantitative tightening. There's no such thing. They've never been tried before. And now the Fed, since 2008, has worked up this new thing called QE. And now they're trying to unwind QT. They stopped it December 1st. They're freezing the balance sheet at $6.64 trillion. And they will let maturities expire. But as maturities expire, it drops the balance sheet. No, we froze it at 6.64. We will go back into the marketplace and buy treasuries adding liquidity, people, adding liquidity to maintain the balance sheet at 6.64 trillion, which will equate to about $500 billion over the course of a year back into the marketplace. Not creating, just not extinguishing. This is a huge shift in the Fed, and this is wicked bullish for risk markets, for lower interest rates, and I believe a higher dollar.
Okay. I can't argue with that. I mean, we got to look at the DXY here, Mr. Flanagan. It is coming up on
what Steve was talking about. The Federal Reserve's total assets stood at about 6.6 trillion as of the end of last month. Federal Reserve's balance sheet's falling by roughly 340 billion. So I'm going to read it to you as we go here. They're trying to sell some of that off, burn off some of that debt. But who's buying the balance sheet? Who's buying the debt, Steve? It isn't international company or international governments anymore, right?
Well, if you begin to start taking with the backdrop of APEC, okay, we talk Fed.
But let's get to it. Who's actually buying the Fed's debt? You know damn well who it is. It's you and me. Social Security, all that. We're the ones buying it. So we're getting deeper and deeper in debt, not other countries.
I believe
we're hurting our own damn self.
Crypto's buying a lot with the stable coins and things, right?
Short term only, though. Only the short term, less than 60.
No, he's right. He's right. They're all buying
billion, but they are the third largest. That's where it is going for sure, without a doubt, state. And that's why this government and this administration is pushing stable coins so much, because it is the buyer of sort of last resort. Know who's going to buy them now? CZ, because he just got pardoned.
The web gets more tangled, as we talked about.
It does, but I'm with you. Hey, Steve, as we're talking, DXY getting hit here pretty hard, back down to 99.88 here today. What are you looking for across the dollar as we get into the week?
Last week's close 99.72. I think we're going to, test it. We'll probably trade a little bit below it. I'm a buyer on the dips as long as we can close higher on the week. The target is 126, which was the high on August 1st. We break that, and my overall objective is a 102, 103 level in the dollar index, and I'm hoping that once we'll see a surge if we break 126. But I hope that it's a slower move, because I don't want the dollar index to move too quick, because it upsets the correlation trades in the marketplace, namely crypto longs, equity longs. So
I just want to slow it down for everybody, because you talk fast, you New Yorker. 100.26 is what Mr. Flanagan's calling for here. At 126, we'd all be in trouble.
That would be really correct. You are right.
So I just wanted to slow down, because I was hearing it first as 126, and I said, "Well, we better."
I see 126. I'm going to be living in Tokyo for a while.
Yeah, Steve's never coming back.
I'll never come back at that point. Yeah.
I want to throw out, that if we look in the globe, we do have RBA coming up tonight, tomorrow. And they're expected to leave rates at 3.6%, but they're in a different quagmire with the U.S. and China, kind of putting it out there for a year. They're a huge natural resource exporter, so they see some opportunities. They'll probably leave rates unchanged. Bank of England, though, comes in on the 6th of this week, and they're at 4%. They're expected to be unchanged, but they've got some serious issues when their budget is being released, and they are talking a lot of new taxes in order to get these shortfalls, and that's not going to go over well. So I am short sterling. I am looking for that trade, presently around 131.20. The last week's close was 131.48.50. We are below that. It already has broken on the technicals, but I want to see it trade below and stay below 131.40, because I think that encourages a fairly sharp downside move. Dollar yen, we're at 154.25, moving up. Good for you, Steve, on your trip. But I'm a little concerned. I do think we'll see up as high as 156.5. Once we get beyond that level, I want to back out of any dollar yen longs because the Bank of Japan will start chirping about the weaker yen. And Scott Bessent has already got his eyes on that as well. So I want to back off the dollar yen, but I do think we could hit a high 156, anywhere up to 158, but that's a zone where you want to step out. Dollar CAD, watch out above. Although, with the apology to Trump from the prime minister, maybe we now move light speed on getting a trade deal with Canada. I hope we do because, we want to see some, happiness between our northern frontier. And that's a good place for the United States to have a great market. Mexico, 1849.90, well below last week's close. So a lot of money has moved back into a 7.5% high interest rate currency. So let's see what goes on there. But I do like the dollar. I don't disagree that you could see a little bit of wobbling here with a trade lower. I look to buy the dip, 99.72 last week's close. People are going to look at this as this inflation story of the ghost being behind us, and actually looking at how dovish the Fed was, you would expect the dollar probably to pick up some additional selling interest here.
Okay.
So as you said, that Austin Goolsbee just said that he believes rates will settle is a fair bit below current levels. So they are expecting another drop in rates here. That should push
well,
it
remember that we've seen the 10 and 30 move without them moving the rates, that we've seen that create, immediate reaction and then sort of get sold off. It seems like the immediate reaction to this week's or last week's thing was to the upside. If you ask me, we'll range back down towards that 4.0 level. That's where it should be with the rate where they just cut. Again, they just cut. The rate shouldn't have gone up.
You're correct. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I mean, the Fed is in the crosshairs to the marketplace. If they hold rates, remember now, another word that Powell did say after talking about the 0.5, 0.6% of tariffs into inflation, which then puts us on a doorstep, he did say the Fed is still moderately restrictive. There's no reason for the Fed to be at these levels of rates, given that we're on the doorstep of their 2% goal.
Guys, I just want to mention out there that our numbers have actually passed up. Viewers right now have passed up Fox News.
Wow. Look at that.
Go,
amazing.
Go.
Well, thank you, everybody. And I forgot, I didn't do my job today. Make sure you hit the like button, smash that follow, share this feed with everybody, get the Steves out to more people. They're telling you everything you need to know. I saw Zora got a nice little move on the futures based upon what Steve and everybody was saying here. So everybody, nice job, trying to get you the information you need to know out there. So we do appreciate you very much. Again, tick still negative, minus 122. We briefly stuck our heads to the upside, but not really. Dow Jones now down 37 basis points towards the lows of the day. SPY just went negative on the days, and the Q's up about 47 basis points. VIX has skyrocketed up to 18.26. Again, when it was in the 16s last week, I was railing on the door, banging the table to buy those calls. Now you're looking to get rid of them after above 18 here. Rinse and repeat. Do it again. Gold at 40.24, silver 48.80 here. WTI, OPEC again had another discussion this weekend. Doesn't sound good for the U.S. There, and I did see that, Ida, south side of Chicago, where my brother is from. Not a fun place. Cabrini Green over by DePaul was never a good area. And when you get to the Robert Taylor homes and things, it's some bad areas, or some of the worst areas of the U.S. within those projects, without a doubt.
But Cabrini Green's gone, so I mean, that's understandable.
Yeah. Sorry to hear about your brother.
Yeah, and I'm very sorry to hear that, Ida, of course.
But I think you bring it into Fed Goolsbee here. I think that the Fed gets it. I think that Powell did his little Fed speak dance, but I think the ghost of inflation is gone. And I think once the markets begin to pick up on that theme, it's going to be buy the dip mentality here.
But the theme for the president of the administration has been manufacturing, and we just saw the PMI numbers come out, and they're down again for manufacturing.
Yeah, but hey, Steve. Now I'm calling timeout here. You're getting a technical foul. Caterpillars are earnings.
I get the big technical foul.
Up. I'm about to put you in the penalty box
out here. Okay, I get it. Look,
there's positives and negatives to everything. I think that's a big part of everything, and I think that's why even we are confused, because it is again, is the 10% going to keep that stock market up long enough for the bottom to get brought back up? That's the question we all have.
Says that inflation is in services. I'll post it so everybody can see it. It says inflation in services is an area of concern.
That definitely is. Right? I will point out also, by the way, I can't make it work because the way my thing works. I was using my Patriots mug is back in vogue today. My New England Patriots. You guys, how miserable you guys going to be?
You know, you can shove that Patriots mug, right? Look, Steve Flanagan is right. I mean, look, I like the new term. Say it, Steve. What's the new term?
Quantum convergence. Oh,
he's right. I mean, if you think about it from a bigger perspective, Austin Goolsbee says he's cautious about layoff data. Yeah, it's terrible. It's getting worse. It's not getting better. It's getting worse. And I don't know what people are thinking here. That the economy is so great. I don't see it, Steve. I'm sorry. I just
don't think that many people here are calling that the economy is that great. We're separating the problem is that there's a stock market and there's an economy, and the economy is not working for everybody. The stock market right now is working for everybody. If you're investing,
Austin says that he says it is not decided going in the next Fed rate setting meeting. So he's also saying what Powell is saying,
and Schmidt also.
Fed's Goolsbee is unusual to have low hiring, low firing economy. One of the things that I did see that interestingly enough, the Fed did talk about AI as a factor. Normally they don't talk about sectors like that as a factor. That it's so big right now that it is actually becoming a factor, right? And so that tells me that they're watching AI pretty closely.
And it's and it's deflationary impact.
Yes.
And that's why they're going to stop talking about inflation. Okay, sir, it's caution.
Moving the goalposts again.
Yeah, of course. I mean, this is the way it's Fed speak. And Steve, to manufacturing, I don't expect manufacturing. This is a convergence. And it takes time for these pieces to fall into place.
Well, and manufacturing, the new manufacturing is chips and data centers. What are you going to manufacture? Data center is going to be the new manufacturing. Now, it doesn't provide the jobs, but it provides the revenue and it provides the income. So we've got to figure out, it really is going to be, we need some great leaders that are going to start to figure this stuff out. And some,
you have great leaders going to figure this out.
No, so we need
that right now.
Yeah.
But Howard, on that note, you've got the world's greatest leaders participating in this convergence. You've got
in this conversation, right? I do believe that. And I will say, one thing you brought up, both of you, I think it was you, Mr. Orr, that brought it up, is that we are lucky with Besant and Lutnick and some of these folks that understand markets that are in the White House administration, which is not that normal, that they are looking at these things that you're talking about, because the last administration didn't. They looked at blockchain technology as an enemy, and blockchain technology is agnostic.
You think that the Democrats would be progressive.
Yeah, but that's all I'm saying is that there's both sides, and that's why, and there you go, Zora. I love it. Now don't overtrade.
Rule don't overtrade. Yes.
Yeah, but I love it. I love it, everybody. That's right.
If we're talking about this convergence and the boom ahead, what does that mean for the incumbent right now? It means that there'll be a positive, grab onto the coattails. Precisely why there's a holdup in our government right now, because one side is trying to say, no, we can't allow this to happen. Delay it as long as possible. Okay, Steve, you might be right. There could be quite a few turning of heads on the election tomorrow, and people might say, whoa, here come the Democrats making a swing back. And that might in fact be true, but this government needs to get their butts in gear, and they need to get this thing done. And, as far as healthcare, no question about it. Let's get this thing sorted out and straightened out. If we can make peace deals all around.
I blame the Democrats for this, because you know what? There are problems at ACA. They know it.
Absolutely, yeah.
And they know it. And you know what? They need to start. I think Trump's right.
It needs to be redone. It needs to be redone, but it has to be redone. It's needed.
And it needs to be separate of the literally. The Democrats are holding it up.
Open the government back up and work on things. That's the way it should work. And we all say that. All three of us are. One thing we all agree on is that.
We are exactly talking about the basis of my quantum convergence is that realistic minds are going, look, guys, I don't care what side of the aisle you're on, fix it. That's
right.
what you're
doing. That's what I pointed out is while the president's approval's gone down, so is the Democrats. No one. The problem is this is how you end up in New York City. This is how you end up with a socialist or a communist.
I mean, you're looking at Virginia's governors, the Virginia governor.
But that's never Republican. That was an outlier. You know that. We've lived there. How long? How many times have they had a governor?
The last three governors of Virginia is a what? Republican. So the new one
in the last 50 years, how many have been?
No, it's true. It's true. But the new one, I mean, a little more liberal than
Youngkin, I loved. I think they're making a mistake. I think they have the right man in office there in Virginia, and I lived there for a long time.
He is going to win by. Right now, they're picking him by 12 points.
Oh yeah, well, because the North, it's all about the North there, as you know.
And right now, the generic congressional vote is right now swinging pretty heavy to the.
I mean,
now listen, we know this, right? We know that when a party has all three,
right, it always swings the other way. No one's.
But this one could.
And all of us were on record before the election of wanting there to be a mix, right? We've all said that, and that's when the government tends to work the best. When you have too much control on one side, it doesn't ever work.
Who's going to win the mayor race in New York City, Steve?
Cuomo.
Nah, Mom Dom is going to win.
Watch out. Watch out.
I mean, I don't have a winner on it, but I will say for the Republicans, the best thing that could happen is if Mandami does win. I mean, it won't work. I mean, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Well, that would be the best thing for if you want to take sides in the battle, because then everybody's going to point fingers and go,
right.
This is what they, AOC.
And the deck would be stacked because you will have the mass exodus that will happen.
I just don't know where they're going to come up with all the money. They're going to turn to the state. The state's going to turn and go, where are we getting the money?
Excuse
from?
me, exactly.
I think SNL was the best over the weekend saying, where you get the money from? I don't know. Right? Yeah. It's not going to happen, right? We know that. And we know that he's playing to the strengths and he's playing to Trump's weaknesses. So I get that. It's New York City and a Republican winning anything in there now. Yeah. This is not Michael Bloomberg terms, and Eric Adams is about as popular as hemorrhoids on a donkey's butt. But Cuomo is literally been he's costing women. So, I mean, this is not the election for New York that New York needs right now. They really need a good, strong leader. Yeah. Because I'm going to tell you, here's another strong fact that people don't know about this. For over 150 years, New York City has been the basis, the very bedrock of financial
services. Yeah. And we've done a lot to make sure it maintained that position as a U.S.
You know what the state that's getting the biggest financial services in the last 5 years?
Florida,
either Texas or Florida. It's one of those.
Texas. Yeah. Texas has two new exchanges.
Yeah.
Right. Texas. Right. Taxes are lower. They understand that we lose.
Oh, with that note, you just lost Mr. Flanagan again.
I think his camera went out there. Texas, Howard. So,
Yeah.
will Texas be the next place where all the Democrats move to be trading? And will there be a whole contingency around that? I think
Well,
so.
they will move down there. Are you crazy? Although I wouldn't say they wouldn't move to Florida
I
either
think,
in the
I think if I told you this, do you remember Democrats used to own Texas for many, many years?
right. No, that's true.
Governor Ann Richards was, look, it could go back. And if you look at El Paso, it's a very Democrat area. Texas could go back to the Democrat Party. Let's bring it back. I think
Mr. Flanagan, we got to get you a better internet provider.
All right, bye Dell. I'm going for a new PC.
Hey, I got to tell you, I was just got a new one from Dell. I got a new Alienware because I was having all those problems. Had to do it. Best investment I've made. I haven't gone down. It's what a difference. What a difference. Yeah.
Hey, thank you, everybody out there. My goodness, the numbers are really good this morning, and I appreciate that. Thank you for retweeting us out there and posting us. If I look at the new numbers here, boys, we literally we now pass up CoinMarketCap. The House Republicans that are speaking right now, we have more viewers than they do right now. So people are listening in. I love it because why? We're straight talk. Right, we're telling it the way that it is. I know that I get banged on for being too negative or too much, but guess what? We're telling it the way that it is, and I've never changed. Howard, you've known me for 30 plus years. It's not popular to tell what's not popular, but when you have over 100 years of knowledge here right now in front of you, people should take advantage of that. I've right now got 42 trades in a row straight, positive wins. 42. There's nobody out there getting 42 straight wins, right? They're telling you lies. When you're seeing it here live, you're seeing Steve Flanagan telling you that we're going to 100 when it was at 97, the Dixie. Guess what happened? Zora on the show is winning big time. Why? Because we're telling you the way that it really is, and we're not sugarcoating it. We're making sure, and you know what? There's going to be differing opinions, but the truth is, we're this close to each other. We're not on the fringes, right? So what we're saying is, look, Quasar Markets is all about one thing. It's about bringing the truth to you, just getting rid of all the noise, and telling you the way that it really is and how it really affects you. We don't really care about politics so much as how it affects you in your markets. And so when I look at this next level of this thing coming into December, we talked about Apple. I bought Apple products, right? Guess what? That's being actually doing it and watching Apple stock go to the highs, right? So that's what I'm bringing to Quasar Markets and what we're doing here in changing the world here. I love this, and it's showing in the number of people watching us. So we really appreciate that, and because Steve Flanagan, myself, and Howard don't do this because we're making the big bucks. I promise you that. Because we really care about your economy and how you see it and the way that because if you're smarter, you make better decisions. You're happier. Everybody's happier. Look at this, guys. Almost at 4,000 now. We've just passed up almost everybody out there. I'm not going to pass up Martin Shkreli, I don't think. We're not criminals yet. Well, maybe we might. But
I didn't realize that was really him. I thought that was a pseudonym.
No, it's him. I follow him all the time. I watch it because he's a very smart guy. He's just
I
think he grips more than the Trump administration, but there is that. But the truth of the matter is, look, we're trying to be. I'm happy about UNH, or I'm sorry, dollar yen 154. Nobody told you that except Steve Flanagan, right? So that's why we're trying to help you out there understanding. Look, crypto, you've literally got the president of the American Blockchain and Cryptocurrency Association on the show right now, Howard Greenberg, right? And this is what we wanted to bring with the Quasar Market. So 4,000 people now. We appreciate that watching us, retweeting it out there, posting and clicking the like. Make sure you subscribe too as well. As much as I want to keep this going, it's 10:30. I know you got to run, Steve. I got to run, and you got to run. But again, I really want to say thank you to everybody out there for all the love that we've been getting, because we do feel it here. So appreciate that.
Thank you so much, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow morning with Quasar Markets Live. We'll have Mr. Flanagan back on Wednesday to tell us what Steve got wrong. I love you guys. I'll talk to you later on. Everybody, have a safe day out there. And, again, take profits when they're there. and keep money on the sidelines. Those are things all three of us are saying.